Breathe in. Welcome to What the Fuchs with Jess Fuchs. Now breathe out. And scream. Because here's what's pissed Jess off this week. Like a sausage casing, these tights. Okay, hello. I'm not taking my shoes off because if I take my shoes off, I lose the battle to convince myself that I am going to the gym after this. Just so you know why I'm wearing sneakers on a perfectly good marketplace couch. That's what I want to start with. It's been... Sip of my water. It's been a busy week. Many things to discuss. Thank you for coming back to What the Fuchs. That's kind of the main thing up top, which is after this, I've already lied to 2 people today that I have gone to the gym. So I have to go because otherwise I'm making a liar of myself. And you know what? I'm actually a fan of lying. I think lying is funny. I think, and this might not be classified as lying for some people, but sometimes I pretend that I'm a different person than I am. Like if I go into a shop, I think it's funny to pretend to be shy. Shut up. You're dumb. Okay, well, listen. Anyway, this week's been crazy because I was in a couple of different places for shows, but more importantly, it's been a big week of learning. And I think what pisses me off is, and this is multi-layered. We're not wasting any time. We're jumping in. It was my mum's birthday. Now, every single time there's a birthday, what I realize is I do not contribute to the overarching ecosystem of my family, neither the immediate people in my family or the broader community, meaning cousins, uncles, etc. Family, friends, great uncles, whoever's out there. No one's coming to me for favors unless it's like a menial task, like, you know, look after my child. I'm having a 90-minute nap, which I also get stuck with all the time with my sister. But what I've noticed about the ecosystem in my family is my sister's a doctor, and so you're sending her a text about a rash, or you're finding information and you're asking her to look at it. Like if so-and-so has cancer, they'll send her the details and she'll be able to like give some great feedback. So she's contributing in that capacity. My dad's a builder. He builds shit. He can hang shit. Useful. Just full-blown body of muscle that can he's a mule, you know, he's capable of getting things from A to B for you. Whatever you need, he'll figure it out. And then the skill set I have is if asked to make, let's say, a card or write something, I'll take it too far. I'll write something, people will be like, this is a 5-year-old's birthday. You can't make a joke about suicide or death. And I'm like, noted, thanks. So I just wish that I would contribute to this ecosystem more. And then on the flip side of this is my job obviously is like my days are very inconsistent. I don't get up at 8 and then go to an office by 9 and I'm back by 6. My life is all over the place. So because I'm a sitting duck for requests is what it is really. I'll be chilling. And by chilling, I mean sitting at my desk trying to write some jokes. And so if you were to walk in on me writing some jokes, what would you see? Great question. Maybe on my laptop, maybe just a notebook. But you'd walk in and you'd assume that I've got absolutely nothing on the day. My schedule's wide open. So I get requests from every Tom, Dick and Harry. Is it Tom, Dick and Harry or Sally? I don't know. I think surely it's the same. Tom, Dick, Harry. Those are Tom, Dick, Harry. Those are 3 boy names. Tom, Dick, and okay. So maybe Sally is the new modern work version because they throw a woman in there. They're like, I'll give her a chance to be whoever. And so I get requests from anyone and everyone to help with things because it appears like I'm doing nothing. And sure, you could argue that because if all these people have something in common, which is they ask me for help, I must be seeming like I am doing nothing. So maybe I got to act busy. In my old job at the very end of my period of being employed by them, this is pre-COVID, I was working in a corporate office and I got really good at appearing busy because I absolutely hated the job and I hated the people. Not all the people, but a good majority. In every corporate job, I feel like people have like a lifeline. They have like 1 or 2 people who you're like, I would live or die for you. I will lay my life down and take a bullet for you because we have trauma bonded at being in one of the worst places in the entire world, which every corporate office seems to be the worst place in the entire world, and that tells you something. But then every single other person in this office, I couldn't care if you live or die. That's how I feel. If someone sent a company-wide email that someone had died, I'd be like, who? Who cares? You're a fucking loser. So I would love to contribute to the ecosystem of my family better. But the truth is I don't really have skills. I think as I get older, what I realize is I have skills like I have a physical body that works sometimes, and in that capacity, like I can lift things for you. I can make sure that your child doesn't like fall down the steps, but I have no actual marketable, valuable skills. So I think if we were talking like caveman times, like I'd be a good woman. I could like, pick berries and like entertain the children as it takes a village. But I think in modern times, like I don't really understand things. I know how to use the internet, but I'm like, nothing's intuitive. And I know you're not supposed to admit that because we all want to pretend that we're like really keeping up to date on things, but not me. I'm sailing right past the kind of checkpoint, the what's it called in Monopoly where there's not jail. I guess you sail past jail. You'd hope so. So I think the ecosystem of this family, I remember I'm dyslexic, and I remember speaking to someone when I was a kid and being terrible at school. And this person, and I've never fact checked this, so just keep in mind, if you're sitting there going like, this is not true, sorry. If you tell me something with enough of your chest, with enough gusto, it's being locked away in my mind, and it is fact. And that's how I move through the world, and I will die that way. And I understand that now we have access to the internet and computers and phones. But if you tell me something with enough confidence, of course I'll believe you. Of course I'll believe you. You're telling me like it's fact. Who am I to say it isn't? This person tells me when I was young, don't worry about being bad at school. The conventional model of modern school is based on a post-industrial, I sound amazingly smart, post-industrial. Now I stopped my roll. I put the foot on the brake. Conventional school in Western society is based on fuck you to me, who stopped herself. The point is schools now, math, science, all these like subjects that are really just dry are based on a post-industrial landscape where those were the needy, like those were the subjects that are needed to have like a job in a factory, a job in a like, I want to say lab, but surely that's not true. I don't think labs were that big a hot place to be back then, back whenever. But it just reminded me of like, I don't know, I don't think I have ADHD, but I don't think I have nothing. And I've heard that severe dyslexia can be comorbid with ADHD. However, I have friends who have ADHD, and I can't understand how they survive day to day because they are terrible at basic things. See, now I can get things done, but I can't tell you what I've said for the last 10 minutes, and I don't know how I got from subject A to Z, and I couldn't tell you anything. I actually couldn't tell you why I ever said anything related to post-industrial. Something about dyslexia. Fuck. What an absolute mess as a start. I tried to start an episode a couple of days ago, and I sat down and I started running my mouth, and I got 5 minutes in and I went, not today. Not today, Jess. You're not hitting your stride, because so much of this talking to yourself, which is essentially talking to you guys, is about finding your rhythm. And I couldn't find it, and now I've just lost it in terms of what was the point of anything. Okay, I've had some water. Let's see if that does anything. You know what the point is. The point is, the heart of this point is, I think I should have been born about 10,000 years ago. I would have killed at a campfire. You're telling me it's been a hard day on the tools, quite literally making some tools out in the desert, the cave, the wilderness, wherever my tribe is. And you're telling me these people come back, they've gone and hunted down a buffalo, and I've picked berries with the girls, and I've made the girls piss themselves all day long. And then you come and sit around a campfire. I've got insulation, so I don't need to sit right near the close part of the campfire. I'm walking around shaking hands, kissing babies, absolutely crowd working the hell out of my community. I would have killed by the fireplace. And here I am, stuck in a fucking bedroom, stuck in an ecosystem of a family where someone's a doctor, someone roasts beans, someone builds houses. How can I contribute? How can I compete? All I can do is talk. I would have been the first cavewoman to go from grunting to speaking. That's my vibe. That's where I am as a benchmark of a person. I would have been revolutionary because I would have been like, I actually can't gossip enough. There are not enough variations in this grunting to get my point across to you, to get my bit, to get my joke, to get my crowd work across to you. Fuck. And now I'm stuck in modern times. I've got the body of a woman who needed to be in, what's that time, the classic Renaissance. Let's Google that. Renaissance paintings. I've got the body of a Renaissance woman and the spirit of a cave woman who's about to change the world. I'm about to invent fire and be like, haha, that's hot. Paris Hilton reference. But it would have been a Jess Fuchs reference because the cave woman would have existed. You come into the cave and you find all these paintings of me, a plus-size Jewish woman, literally standing around a cave, absolutely killing. Men out there dying, hunting the buffaloes, but I'm killing local. Fuck. Heartbreaking. So that's kind of part one. I do think I blacked out at the start of this and I did mention something to do with an office. I do want to say this because this is something else I've been thinking about. Now, I haven't had a office job in 3 years. I've worked a bunch of different jobs, like literally everything and anything since moving back from living in America, which was where I had my last corporate job. And when I moved back, I went back to a job that I had basically all through uni because it was COVID, and I was working at a medical center all through university, and then before I left to move over to the States, and then like off and on forever as a medical receptionist, which is so funny. And I mean, that's a whole time for another day. A shout out to any medical receptionist, because I'll tell you what, you are keeping it, you are keeping shit running, and you are being an absolute bitch. And I'll tell you what, I love it, and I see you, and I love it, and I am you, and anyone would be you. You know, we all want to be pretentious about like, oh, if I had that job, I would never be like that. I would never be a bitch to people, you know. Like sometimes I've gone to a cafe and someone's given me lip and I'm like, well, why you, like, I get it's a shit job, but, and it's like, no. Anyone working a job that is dealing with people, shut the fuck up, because you will get to a point where you are pushed to the edge and you fall. That's the truth. And the falling to me in the medical center system is, I don't give you an appointment even though you claim it's urgent. I'm like, go to the emergency room. All right. So I've been thinking a lot about my old office job because I am like thinking about, okay, as much as I've got comedy and that's really busy, I'm starting to be like, do I need to get some sort of job just to make enough money because I want to work on a few projects and I need some more money for those projects. So do you work like a part-time job, whatever? And so I've been really reflecting on my old office job, and I'll tell you what, it is not a hot take to tell you that I hate corporate culture. I don't think that's new. I think we all pretty much know that. Everyone out here is a corporate cuck just suckling on the teat of consumerism, stuck in a shithole job where they just go in every day and they meal prep and they talk to people they hate. We all agree on that point. I don't think anyone is. That's not really anything to have you to be up in arms about. However, I think we have had corporate culture enough. It has been around, offices have existed enough that we know that there are some kind of unwritten rules of how you do and don't behave in a corporate space. Sure, some are a bit of a grey line. You know, men are learning not to tap a receptionist on the ass like it's Mad Men. But the one I'm bringing to the group makes my blood boil in a way like I still work that job with this same person and I am experiencing this day in and day out. However, keep in mind it's been years, edging on 3 to 4 years at this point until I last experienced a woman eating a hard-boiled egg in a closed office space that is shared. Let me just reiterate that point. I spent years in a room with a woman who would bring hard-boiled eggs, 2, 3 if she's really hitting the protein, and peel them and eat them at 9 a.m. in an office that I shared with her. Take all the time you need to really feel that sentence, to really get that in your bones and get that in your heart and feel that deep in your marrow. You've come to work. You've caught the bus, you've caught the train, you've been on foot, you've driven in bad traffic, you've eaten breakfast, you woke up with enough time to shower, eat breakfast, do your morning chores, you share a room with a woman. Already, red flag, already a terrible way to start every single day. And now you are telling me that on top of sharing the room and on top of driving to work or being in an office, you are now sitting in a closed office. No ventilation, hard-boiled egg. That's the sound a hard-boiled egg makes in a dry mouth in the morning. Fuck off. Fuck right off. So I'm talking to you today about the anger that I can't let go of, that I am just seething and feeling deep. It is hot enough, this anger, that you could boil water to make the eggs. That's how angry I am. Now, a couple things to understand. So I'm sharing this office with this woman who is technically my boss, though we essentially do the same thing. Let's not even unpack any of that. Now, she's incredibly tall. So we sat with our backs to each other and a couch on the wall. So just so you understand, there was a 2-seater couch, so you could have like a couple people sit in the office, and then a desk, a pretty standard normal size desk on either side. So how many meters is this room? I'm going to say 3 or 4 meters by 2 meters, right? So I sit on my desk, she sits on hers, and there's a couple meters between us, if that, maybe 1.5 meters. Now, I don't have the capacity mentally or the interest to convert this to anything from Americans. So let's say you take 2 big strides and you're from where I sit to where she sits. We're tight. We're compact. It is sardines in this bitch. Now, we also are sitting in an office that is glass doors, and it's sliding doors. So if you slide my side of the door open, she's locked in. If you slide her door, I'm locked in. So in order to get out of our office, you slide your side, you walk out, you close the door, and then vice versa. She would slide. So she would start to eat eggs. And I would open my door. So slide, slide, slide. And she's eating, and people would come in, and you start getting some noise, and it's frustrating because people are making noise. Sure. We're trying to do our work. She's trying to really hone in and focus up on eating these eggs in as loud a manner as possible. And she doesn't like the sound that's coming from outside, which is funny because I don't like the sound or smell that's coming from inside. So she would, using her 25-foot long leg, reach her leg across to where my door is open and slide it shut. And just slide my door shut. Hey, how about you choke on one of those eggs and I won't be doing the Heimlich? Not because it is no longer regulated as the safest way to help someone choking, but because I hope you choke on that fucking egg yolk and die, bitch. Every day she would have something in that room, and every day it stunk, and every day I wanted to die. I used to joke to my coworkers about writing a note, putting it in my pocket, and then hanging myself from... That's too far. You know the things you say to your colleagues that you know it's a safe space because you both hate what you're doing and where you are in equal measure. But I can't walk around telling people that I used to tell them that I would hang myself from the boss's office in order to just stir up some drama. I used to have sick fantasies about quitting, pulling my pants down and shitting on the conference room table. I would never actually do it. I can't poo on command, and I spent most of my childhood having to run home to poo in the privacy of my own home. I couldn't poo outside. One time my family went on a beautiful Sunday walk, and I was on a scooter. So I'm pushing this little, scooter around, and oh no, it's going to happen. And I can't get home in time because I can't really get good strides happening with my legs because then poo will fall out. So my dad had to scooter me home. So I stood on the scooter clenching my butt, and my dad had to scooter me home. And that's what I'm saying about family economy and family ecosystem. He contributes. This man pushed me home to get to a toilet instead of just using one locally wherever we were on the side of the street. So when I think about re-entering the corporate, sorry, I came to in mid-story. So when I think about the idea of re-entering the corporate space, I do genuinely believe there are people who take joy out of being in a corporate space. I have to, because otherwise how has it just become something that we all en masse accept as the status quo? And I understand that pushing past what we all think is just normal in quotes and the way that things are, you have to go have a job. Yeah, sure, you do. We all have to make money to pay for snacks and grapes. The other day, I bought some grapes and I went to pay. This is not on the list, but it is a fucking anger point. So, you know when you go get your normal groceries and you put them in a basket and then you go line up. And I was at a small place because I was at a new gym and it was around the corner from where I wanted to get, I just had to get groceries. Anyway, why did you shut up? You don't need to know where I am getting my stuff. I just wanted to justify that it's not in a major place where you can do self-checkout, which explains why I was then in a long line and got to the front and they were like, for 3 bananas and a bag of grapes, it was $25. And I said, $25? Excuse me? And she said, yes, the grapes are $22. And I said, $22. And she said, yes. And I said, excuse me? And then I turned around to go and put the grapes back and there were 35 people behind me. And I thought, what the actual fuck do I do? Because I do want grapes and these are quite firm. And am I crazy, or did grapes never used to cost this much? You know when people are like, oh, it was a hot summer last summer. I was like, was it? I don't remember anything. I don't think I remember what temperature it was last winter. People are like, yeah, don't you remember? It was such a rainy winter last winter. What are you keeping a fucking journal of this shit? How do people encode things like that? And when people are like, yeah, I think in 2006 I went to Europe for this thing. 2006, bitch. I can't even remember what year my niece was born. And she was born on Insurrection Day, January 6th, when Trump's people stormed the Capitol. She stole my sister's pussy. And speechless. The point is about all of this corporate nonsense is, how dare this woman eat a boiled egg, pay me minimum wage, be my boss, a huge asshole, and there's all of this fluff around corporate policies and HR looking after people and keeping people safe, and then you're letting this woman eat a hard-boiled egg near me? I've actually lost the will. You know when you get so angry, you pass over into the moment of stillness? That's maybe what this has allowed me to do today. Because I don't remember years, I don't remember seasons, but I remember the smell and the feeling and the experience of having a woman eat an egg in the same office that I'm sitting in. And it's like when you've just washed your hair and you go out and there's people smoking cigarettes and now you're like, my hair's going to smell cigarettes. Fuck you. I would wash my hair, come into work, be in an okay mood considering where I am, and then she'd make me stink like a boiled egg. The true lack of self-awareness that 99% of people have is every single day shocking to me, which makes me then wonder if I lack self-awareness because I'm not absorbing how stupid the people around me are. All right, sorry, I had to get a tissue. My allergies been so fucked recently, and it's hard because I had to drop my friend at the airport the other day. And it's so funny because obviously now with post-COVID, we're also suspicious if anyone sniffles or coughs or does anything. And so I was at the airport and I suddenly had an allergy attack and he was checking in his bag. So I'm standing alone in this one area of the international airport near the departure section. Everyone's taking photos with family, crying, happy, weeping, and I am sneezing. And I'm not saying Hatchoo, hatchoo. I'm talking 45 sneezes. Hatchoo, hatchoo, hatchoo. Succession, boom, boom, boom. And so people are like, she's either dying or having some sort of, she's so sick, but she had to send off her lover on an international trip. And by lover, I mean gay best friend. Calm down. No one to report. But this kind of fear we have around it, and then you feel like, oh, do I need to over-explain and be like, oh, sorry, it's allergies. It's allergies as people are walking past. Like, I can't then stop you from your day to tell you that the way you're looking at me isn't fair because I just have allergies. So my allergies have been disgusting recently, and I don't know if this season is going to be worse than the last because, hey, I don't track how good or bad seasons are, but the pollen is really pollinating recently. Now, this one I'm not really ready to unpack fully because I feel, this last anger point for this week, we're just kind of going in. These are really top line ones because I think I already am angry about them, and there's really not no change. Some of these feel like there is no grey area. And I think in the grey area is where we really fly with the unpacking and the trying to understand. But really today you're just getting the facts, the cold hard facts of a situation, mixed in with some real kind of messy thinking. If I listen back to this, I would assume that this woman has some sort of degenerative brain situation where you're like, okay, you probably do have ADHD. I don't even know if degenerative brain is a what does that degenerative brain, surely that's just a thing where it gradually damages and destroys parts of your nervous system, especially areas of your brain. Yeah, it feels like none of it made sense. Neurodegenerative disease. I don't know if this is offensive because I don't know what I'm saying. And in some ways, if someone says something offensive but they really don't know what they're saying, does that count? I'm going to say yes. But I want to believe that in this situation, it doesn't count. Because what I'm trying to say is I think I need an ADHD diagnosis. But I don't even know if I would medicate myself for it because let's just fucking move on, Jess. Last point of my main anger points today is, this is what I was trying to say. I don't think I've spoken to people today, so I think the issue is everything is coming out in one go and none of it makes sense. Because when you speak to people and let's bring it back to the corporate. You're asleep, you wake up, you maybe speak to someone, maybe you text, you eat breakfast, you leave the house and you get on a bus. So you'd say hi or whatever. Can I sit here? And then you get to the office. And that is really the first time in the morning, in the day, you're cooking. You're talking to people your brain's required to be on. Maybe you've gone to the gym, but I don't really think anyone who's doing that is listening to this. And if you are, thank you for trying to understand a different woman's life because we have nothing in common. Just at a base level, if you can get to the gym before your corporate job and you start anywhere between 8 and 9 a.m., we've never seen eye to eye on a single life experience. Just kind of putting that out there. So you're really only starting to talk or process, or your brain is really only starting to turn on by the time you're speaking to people in real life. Now, because I don't have a job that requires me to engage with people before 7 p.m. when I go on stage and have to deal with comedians, sometimes my brain is not really sure it's on or cooking or moving until I sit down to do something like this and I realize, oh God, I think it's like one of those old school computers that literally buffers and takes a while. I'm not a new MacBook Pro. I am one of those old dial-up internet like computers that you press on and it has the like spinning wheel of like, then you got to log in. Are you logging in as a guest? Are you logging in as this person? And sometimes I think I wake up and log in as a guest by mistake. So the point is, for this last point, that I have re-entered the dating app world. However, and I was discussing this with a friend, sometimes you go on a dating app and it registers you as ugly. Now, shut up. Whatever you're about to tell me, shut the fuck up. Because let me tell you, the world operates on algorithms. Everything is an algorithm. You're listening to this, algorithm. You're seeing this on TikTok, algorithm. You're going out with your friends, algorithm. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. And so the apps are essentially an algorithm. Now, sometimes on certain apps, if enough people say that you're hot because they're hot and they vouch for you by saying they want to fuck you, you get put in the hot category. But very easily you can be caught up in the slippery slope of ugly algorithm. And that's where I find myself currently. And look, we can go back and forth all day long about what is ugly. And sure, everyone's beautiful. That's not true. Well, it is true. Everyone's beautiful to someone, sure. But I am stuck on the real ugly side of Hinge. And it is just making me... I don't want to once again discuss suicide in this episode for fear of the fear you will feel. Not for me. I feel safe and happy. But I'm stuck on the ugly side of Hinge, and I don't know how to change that. And you can do a hard reset, because my friend and I, we were saying she got stuck on the ugly side and it was heartbreaking for her. And so I think she did a hard reset, and then with that hard reset, you get basically it's factory settings again. So you get shown to new people and you can change your photos and whatever. We could really get into the nuances of online dating, and we will, but that's its own anger point. And I think I want to have another week or two cooking on these apps to really unpack, solidify, get that anger nice and hot. Because where I'm at right now is I'm on the ugly side, but it's not too bad because it's still funny. And then sometimes really bad things are funny, and then they tick over into, well, that's actually not funny, and here's why. It's like when someone's tickling you and you're like, stop it. I'm at the ha 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 part, because we're doing screenshots and we're sending to each other and we're like, oh my God, we're going to die alone. And then next week I'll be like, I'm going to die alone. So that's just a soft one to just kind of make sure that these other things that I'm rinsing and talking about aren't really too alienating for the people who live a different lifestyle, aka the morning wakers and the exercises in the morning, and, the people who contribute to their family ecosystem and whatnot. So this last point is a last ditch effort to hook anyone who hasn't been hooked by the other things that have pissed me off this week. But being stuck on the ugly side of the dating app is unacceptable. And it's like, oh, change your photos, make your bio. What? I don't want to do that. I just want it to be easy. It's like with social media, 50 years ago, well, a woman couldn't have been a comedian, but 50 years ago, I would just be funny and that would be enough. But now I have to make content and I have to put photos of myself up and I have to do all these things to prove to you that I'm funny, so you come and see me in real life where I'm actually funny. Why? It's the same with dating. 50 years ago, you'd come up to me at a community dance hall and a man would say, do you want to dance? Or he might not even say that. And then the next day he would speak to my dad and he would marry me. And I don't want that, but I don't want this either. I don't want to be good. Tell me if this is bad. What are the prompts? The prompts are like, a green flag I look for. Shut up. Maybe one week we can redo my dating profile together, because it's so terrible. It's like my go-to song in the car to sing is, my go-to song to blast when I cry in the car, I play Silence. It is silent when I scream crying in the car. That fills the room. We don't need to add Kylie Minogue into the mix when I'm screaming crying in my car. God damn. Also the pictures. Do you have pictures with your friends? And then I put a picture of me with Nick White. And then the only people that reply, oh my God, he's so funny. Okay. Do you want to have sex with me now? Why? Why is it so bad? And then I keep telling all my friends to set me up with people. And then they all claim they have no friends. I'm like, yeah, no one has friends. That's half of the bloody problem. Myself included. You think I have any straight men who are single just faffing around my life? Every man in my phone is married. And my brother was the last person in my phone who was single, as in not married, as in a 10-year deep relationship. And a few weeks ago, he got married. So now I'm down to 0 single, aka legally unmarried friends. Not a single one. The rest are homosexuals. You want a gay boyfriend? I've got 1,000 and I can call them up. You want a man? A straight man? Right. Now, that's the dating game, and I'll update you as we go. I think I will most likely delete the app in the following week. However, I am now feeling more inspired to keep it, just so we can do a full review overhaul of the entire app system, and perhaps we reinvigorate my profile. But the worst thing is when you change your profile and you go, this will do it, this will make people think I'm hot, and then nothing happens and nothing changes, and then you're like, right, well, yeah, we have no options. So that's where I'm at with the dating apps. Now, finally, before I let you go, I do a write-in. Not every single week is going to end with this sort of thing, but this week we have a couple good ones. So I just want to assess, I put out onto my Instagram, I was like, what pisses you off? What do you want to talk about? What's getting you really grinding your gears? Your gears. Yeah, that's it. Grinding your gears? Fuck if I know. Your gears. I'm saying like Aussie, like your gears. So someone wrote in, it's really quite simple, but the reason I chose this one to focus on this week is they wrote spelling errors is what pisses them off. Now, in the online form that you can fill in, I say, what pisses you off? And people fill it in, spelling errors. And then I say, anything else I should know? Now, in there, I'm expecting you can put your name on it if you want. You can tell me about your day. You can just, I don't care what you put in there. It's just a you don't have to. It's a non-compulsory option for anything else that you might want to throw in. Now, this person, what I love is, to my question, anything else I should know, they wrote, I'm fearful of most things. No, isn't that the damn truth? But also, what an economy of words to just say what pisses you off, spelling errors, and then to say anything else, I'm fearful of most things. Now, call me crazy, call me delusional, call me, because I haven't spoken to anyone else today. But that is so funny. In relation to the spelling error thing, I have a very complicated relationship with spelling due to being severely dyslexic. Now, does the word yacht need to be spelt Y-A-C-H-T? No. It should be spelt Y-O-T. Things should be spelt the way they sound. I don't know enough about languages, about other languages. All I know is about the English language, and I know it doesn't make any sense. Because I know some other languages are a bit more phonetic. They are how they sound. But when it comes to English, I mean, why is definitely spelled that way? Why is favourite spelled that way? Why are we putting in an O and a U? Why does the UK and America need to distinguish themselves in spelling? Shut the fuck up. This metric system of changing how things weigh, and then also just... All right, I got to tell you the truth. The camera that I own continues to overheat because the microphone that I use goes right into the camera, and then my room gets hot because it's summer. The camera shut off mid-sentence. There's not much I can do. I've turned the fan on to keep the camera cool. So if suddenly you're like, why is there a helicopter in the background of this audio when before it has been fine? That's what the change is. Now, I was talking about spelling, and I have lost the vigor that I had for it. I do just think that it is bullshit that people will kick a fuss when I can't spell something. And when I say I mean anyone. If you can determine what I have said and the sentiment that I am putting forward based on the word that I am putting in the text, in the writing, then shut up about spelling mistakes. I get it. I understand it's frustrating. I get it if it's like proofread something. Yeah, sure. But if we are rapid fire texting or we are quickly trying to organize something and I say, meet me at the yacht, and you say, what's a YOT? And I say, sound it out loud. And you go, oh, the yacht. I'll meet you at the yacht. If I have a yacht, if I own a yacht and you're pissed off that I've invited you onto my yacht and I'm telling you to meet me at my yacht and you're kicking a fuss that I'm not spelling yacht, yacked, you're no longer invited on the yacht. I am in two minds because I understand the value of being able to spell well. However, if you can understand my meaning, you can also understand to shut the fuck up. So, do I get angry at spelling mistakes? I personally do not. I couldn't care less. I will fight tooth and nail to understand whatever you are saying with your style of spelling because I understand what it means to not be able to spell your own name. One time, I forgot I was born on the 28th of October, and for some reason, I thought I was born on the 27th. Now, I know that has nothing to do with spelling, but that's also just a benchmark to show you where I'm at mentally. and it's not strong. God gave me physical strength in the form of kilograms on my bones and a kind of brute strength that is really only akin to an ox, because he did not give me brains. And the older I get, the more I kind of sit in that, and the more I understand that. There are so many things I'm good at, but being smart and talking smartly, no, you can't say that, Jess. Being smart, I am smart in a very specific way, in a way where you'd be like, she kind of knows stuff. Or like, I'm smart in a way that someone will turn around after I give good advice and go, you know what, sometimes you give good advice. Yeah, if I gave good advice, you wouldn't be sometimes telling me that sometimes I do give sometimes good advice. That's the kind of level of smart that we're at on this pod. My allergies are making me itchy. This new fan is really driving the dust up my nostrils and in every single hole. I'm now thinking about the fact that it is time for me to go to the gym. I have nothing left to say, so I can't actually any longer pretend that I have to keep talking. So there really is no advice in regards to this spelling errors other than just to say that I don't want to say fuck off to this person, because the fact that they have a general sense of fear is funny to me, and I think in some way we would get along because of that, because I think fear is an incredibly funny, fucked up emotion. So I'm in two minds about the spelling. I really am, because on the one hand I can't spell, so how dare I put a benchmark that someone else has to get to that I myself cannot. And on the other hand, I do understand, like, if you're sending me a long composed text message that you are trying to prove some point, let's say we're fighting and you spell something, well, but then if you're coming from a place of emotion and passion and fire, and you're firing off a text message because it is just imbued with all of this anger, how dare I fight back? The jury is out on this. I do think I'll say this final thing and then I have to go, because the gym, even though it is a 24-hour one, feels like it's going to shut. And I think convincing myself that this gym will shut is the only way you're going to get me there, even though I fully know it is 24/7. But I will not take feedback on that this time. So don't try to message me right now as if I'm live. Don't try to convince me otherwise is the point. Jury is out on the spelling mistakes. I think that if you know what someone is saying, shut up and just let them spell it poorly. So in some ways, I don't agree with you that spelling mistakes are not a fair thing to get mad about. Sometimes not making a decision is as paralyzing as anything else. And I feel right now I have faffed around not giving a ruling over this spelling errors topic. I will stop myself and I will center myself and I will say to you right now, shut up about spelling mistakes. If you can understand what I'm saying, then there is no spelling mistake. That's it. That's it. Now, if you have anything that's pissing you off, feel free to go on my Instagram link tree. The first one there is, do you have something that's pissing you off? And you can write in. It's anonymous. Say whatever you want. Say that you hate this. Say that I don't care. Just say something. Have a bit of passion in your life. What's going on? My stand-up special should be coming out soon. We are waiting on that. I have a monthly newsletter that is coming out soon as well. You can sign up through the link tree, my Instagram, for that too. You can also just DM me, email me, whatever, and I can throw you on the list. I have a handful of shows. I am also going to do a show in November, which I know is a little while away, but it's going to be taped. It's a short. I'm headlining in Newtown, Sydney, if anyone's around, at the Trocadero. It's in Newtown. I will have Instagram. I'll put details later, but if that is something you want to come to, if you're in Sydney, it'll be like a 25 minute spot, but I'm filming it just because it's a bunch of new jokes and it'll be some fun stuff. And like, subscribe, follow, send, all of the necessary things, because I do really like doing this. It's fun. Whether or not you're enjoying it, that's not really the concern, because if you hate this and it's making you angry, hey, you know what that makes me. Say it with me now. 1, 2, 3. Turned on, happy. So, yeah. Thanks again for listening. Let me know. Just let me know. Just hey, let me know. Okay, bye.